Whether you are tuning in from an office in Auckland, a firm in Sydney, or a public sector desk in Wellington, chances are you have already found ways to weave AI into your daily routine. But if you operate like most professionals, your workflow relies heavily on a single habit: opening a blank chat window and starting from zero. It feels fast in the moment. You get past the friction of a blank page, or you grab a quick summary of a report. But relying on that blank window is incredibly inefficient. Every single time you open it, you have to re-explain who you are, what your company does, how you need things formatted to meet your quality standards. This creates a major professional hurdle we call the visibility block. Because your best, most effective prompt patterns are buried deep inside a chaotic, unorganized sidebar history, your actual capability remains completely hidden from your organization. When your workflow only lives as a private, unrecorded shortcut in your head, it traps you in a continuous loop of manual prompting. Because it cannot be shared or standardized, it cannot be used as tangible evidence of your value during a performance review. To fix this permanently, we need to shift our approach. We have to move away from being casual tool users and step into the mindset of structural systems designers. Our objective is to build what we call an AI doppelganger. We are going to take the repetitive, high-frequency tasks that quietly consume your week and assign them to a specialized custom assistant. We want to take a 60-minute administrative drag and compress it into 15 minutes of strategic human oversight. Overcoming the visibility block requires a permanent upgrade in your workspace. We are retiring the blank chat window, which acts like an amnesic intern, and replacing it with a specialized permanent operational framework. Making this transition requires a distinct shift from conversational prompting to structural tool configuration. Many professionals fail here because they attempt to automate the wrong workflows. If you try to get a model to write complex strategy papers from scratch or handle sensitive workplace communications where political nuance requires deep human relationships, the output will fall over. You will spend more time fixing errors than you would have spent doing the work manually. To find tasks that are actually safe to delegate, we apply a specific filtration system. We evaluate your routine workloads against a strict 4-rule parameter grid. First, the task must be high frequency, something you execute every single week or fortnight. Second, it must be explicitly rule-based. If you cannot explain your personal step-by-step checking method to a colleague, you cannot write instructions for a model. Third, the task must consume a meaningful chunk of your weekly schedule. And fourth, the work must primarily involve structured text processing or data sorting. Isolating tasks that meet all 4 of these criteria keeps the system out of deep strategic territory. It prevents superficial reasoning and ensures the model only handles workloads where consistency is guaranteed. Once you have identified a task that clears this filtration system, you do not just write a prompt. You place the workflow inside an isolated workspace we call an operational capsule. You populate this capsule with 3 distinct assets. The first is your permanent context. This includes your organization's required templates, definition guides, and regional standards. The second asset is your evidence pack. You provide examples of past successful work that demonstrate the exact tone, depth, and structural expectations you require for the final deliverable. The third and final asset is your system instructions. This is a permanent set of explicit operational boundaries. They dictate how the assistant processes information, how it formats data, and precisely where its automation stops, so your human judgment can take over. This written documentation transforms your private, hidden workflow into a verifiable institutional resource. By formalizing your process, you guarantee performance that others can see and measure. You do not need to rebuild your entire digital workspace in a single morning. Instead, you can execute this system by choosing from 3 escalating pathways based on your available time. The minimum pathway takes just 20 minutes. You configure a single task using a basic 3-section prompt, paste in 3 recent reference files, and run it. Your only goal here is to get off the starting line and break the habit of the blank chat window. The standard pathway is a 35-minute commitment designed to build a highly resilient tool. Here, you inject explicit style guides into your system instructions, and you test the assistant against 5 distinct work examples to document where it excels and where it requires human intervention. For those in our region, the standard pathway also involves enforcing mandatory regional constraints. You ensure the instructions restrict the tool to local New Zealand and Australian English, systematically embedding localized spellings like prioritized, organized, and analyzed. Finally, the ambitious pathway is a 60-minute commitment. You design 2 distinct doppelgangers to handle separate elements of your role. You run them as an integrated operational layer on real assignments for a full week, and then produce a formal playbook documenting your architecture and testing data. This selection process systematically increases the structural resilience and reliability of your weekly output, regardless of how much time you save in the immediate term. By completing this setup, you stop typing random queries into a website. You begin acting as an architect of corporate efficiency, building an automated framework that proves your operational consistency to senior leadership. The true function of this AI doppelganger is to clear the noise of low-value drafting and routine administrative processing entirely off your desk. With that noise removed, you can redirect your energy into high-value strategic synthesis and the critical stakeholder relationships that drive tangible business outcomes. Choose your pathway today. Take 20 minutes this afternoon to configure your first specialized assistant and permanently turn your hidden AI usage into a documented, verifiable career asset.